Today we're gonna go over some scary stats about American consumerism, how much time we spend on our phones, how much money we spend in general, the amount of possessions that we have. For me, when I see these type of stats, it makes me very conscious of what I'm doing in my own life, and it also makes me very cautious about how I am spending my time, my money, and my life overall, and really realizing that I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to go in an opposite kind of direction that is right for me in my life. If you guys are new to my channel, I talk about minimalism and saving money. I post new videos every Monday, so if that's something that interests you, don't forget to subscribe. Over half of Americans don't have enough in savings to cover 1 month of missed income. And I'm actually going to put another stat along with this, is that 18% of Americans deal with anxiety regularly. While there are a ton of reasons why we deal with anxiety and depression, and we're very stressed as a country, really, and that leads to a ton of different health problems and mental problems. One of the main reasons for that is money. It is living paycheck to paycheck. It's knowing that if I, break a leg or something happens and I can't go to work and earn money, I don't have enough money to cover the bills. I am this far away from always, being out on the street or getting into debt or whatever it is. It will take the average person with a bachelor's degree 19.7 years to pay off their student loans. Just last week, I talked to somebody who was over $200,000 in student loan debts and still does not have a job in that field. While there are tons of problems with the education system in general, when you look at it as these people are probably going to be paying off their student loans until they're 40 or 50 and then starting at ground zero once they're at that age, as opposed to doing what I did and avoiding student loans altogether, spending time working, earning money during those 4 years instead of getting into debt and not earning money. I just think not going to school and trying other things should be strongly considered before taking on that much debt. If you have $10 in your hand and zero debt, you are richer than 15% of Americans. That means over 15% of Americans, their net worth is under zero. Forgetting even about debt, 69% of Americans say that they have under $1,000 in their savings account, and 45% of Americans have no money in their savings accounts at all. The average American spends 33 hours per week watching TV. That's like a part-time job. I know over the past month I have stopped watching TV almost entirely, and I have gotten so much more stuff done, and I think my overall happiness has also improved a lot just by not spending that insane amount of time watching TV. The average American reads just 4 books every year. Now, I'm not like some crazy person who reads like a book a day, and you see those people.
Knowledge.
I don't think that's definitely necessary, but as I look back in my life, it was reading books, the knowledge I gained from those, that has completely changed my life, and I think is one of the strongest, most beneficial things you can do to improve your own life, is to take the knowledge that people spend their entire lives packing this knowledge into a book, and you can consume that. The more you read, the more you learn in general, the more possibilities there are in your life. Here's a scary one for you. The average person will spend an average of 5 months of their lives looking for misplaced and lost items. I know I used to spend a ton of time looking for my keys, my wallet, my phone, shoes, clothes, just leaving stuff all over the place before I kind of got organized and made a place for everything. And since then, it's actually been really cool how little time I have spent like frantically looking for my keys and being late for appointments because I don't know where any of my stuff is. The average American is about 17 pounds overweight, and I believe that is because our society has become extremely centered around instant gratification. You can click something and you'll have, your Amazon box the next day. You can go to a drive-through. You can get food instantly without going out and having to, find it like we used to. Controlling your weight and eating healthy drastically changes how you think about yourself, how others perceive you, how you feel on a day-to-day basis. I think it is one of the most important things in life, is to take care of your health so that you can feel the best that you can every day. So kind of to go along with that, the average American only exercises for about 17 minutes a day. Well, I don't think you have to live at the gym or go every day. I only go about 3 times per week. I do think it is important to consistently move every day, whether that's going for walks, hikes, bike rides, going outside, because our society nowadays, we sit inside, we drive to work, we sit in our chair, and then we sit on the drive back, we come home, we sit, watch TV, we sit at the kitchen table, And sitting is like becoming the new smoking. Is very unhealthy for you. So just getting up consistently throughout the day and moving, I think is really important for your mental health as well as your physical health long term. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, don't forget to drop a like for the algorithm. The average American also consumes about 11 alcoholic drinks per week. Now, while I'm not totally against drinking, when most Americans don't have any money, and a lot of people, it's a very common thing to go out and have a drink every time you go out to dinner, a couple times per week. That can really add up if you don't actually have enough money to pay your bills, cover an emergency, no money in retirement. It's just a lot of money, and it's also just not good for us as a society to be averaging over a drink a day. Only 58% of Americans are actively saving for retirement. I think there's definitely a mindset nowadays that retirement is something that you can deal with later on and you don't have to worry about it now when you're younger, but just taking a few steps early in your life and letting compound interest drastically change the amount of money you put in can completely change your life. It doesn't take a lot of money if you start investing at 20 to become a millionaire when you retire, but if you wait until you're 40 or 50 to start investing, it's gonna make your life so much harder. 23% of adults pay late fees on their bills because they lose them. This is why I think it's really important to have systems of dealing with things. You have a place for everything in your house. When you get the mail, it goes in a certain spot, and on a certain day you take care of that, instead of just kind of throwing it in a pile with a bunch of other stuff and then eventually it gets lost, or there's just a stack of stuff and it builds up so much that you don't actually want to go through it. Each year, the average American throws away 65 pounds of clothing. I think this definitely kind of shows the consumerism in our society. And it's not like that's happening because you just purged your closet and now you have a capsule wardrobe kind of like I've done. I think it's more because we continually cycle through stuff. We buy stuff, we don't even wear it, or we wear it a few times and then we throw it away. There is another stat that most people only wear about 20% of their wardrobe on a regular basis. So that means 80% of the stuff that we have, we're not wearing that often. That's kind of the whole 80-20 rule. I think most of us see this in our lives where there's those few things that you love to wear every day, and then you have all that other stuff that you feel guilty about getting rid of because you paid for it, but you don't actually like it. 1 out of every 4 houses with a 2-car garage does not actually have space inside their garage for a car. Most of us know that stat of the average American's house has 300,000 possessions in it, and those have kind of leaked out from cluttering up our living spaces to cluttering up our garage, and now we have random junk that we don't even like and it's not all that valuable sitting inside of a garage instead of like your $40,000 car or whatever it is. Another stat that kind of goes along with this is there is 7.6 feet of storage space for every person in the US. We have so much stuff that not only is it filling up our garages and our basements, but we also have to store it. It's one of the fastest growing industries is the personal storage industry. Just having thousands and thousands of things that you're hanging on to just in case, instead of selling them and getting some money or giving them to somebody in help, is I think a major cause of stress and definitely something that's happening to a ton of people right now. The average American replaces their cell phone every 1.8 years. So that means over the course of our lives, we will average cycling through 40 different phones. So there's this whole chart thing on this website that I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. But over the course of our lives, the weight of our electronics that we will cycle through individually as people is almost 2,000 pounds of electronics. That's phones, laptops, tablets, whatever other electronics people have. That's like an insane amount of stuff that we are cycling through, and a lot of it is just getting rid of stuff before we need to. Getting rid of a TV for one that has a curve in it or has like a little bit better pixels, as opposed to just hanging on to stuff until it actually breaks. In the United States, people spend 2 hours and 3 minutes on social media every single day. That's not including the other time that we spend looking at our phones, checking email, doing all the other junk that we do on our phone. That's just social media. Now, this has nothing to do with Americans, but I just thought it was interesting. In the Philippines, which is the highest average in the world, people are spending an average of 3 hours and 53 minutes per day on social media. Now, sticking with our insane and depressing tech habits for a little bit here, people on average interact with their phones. That means swiping, texting, clicking, tapping, whatever it is, a crazy 2,600 times every single day. And for heavy phone users, that's over 5 1,000 times a day, just opening up your phone, clicking on different things, just tapping that little screen. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.